A very good afternoon to you tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to our lunchtime news. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa, and this is what we have for you this afternoon. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is also Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces in Uganda, yesterday promoted and appointed 3 senior officers of the Uganda People's Defense Forces. The promoted officers included Major General Francis Takirwa, Major General J.A. Bakasumba, and Brigadier General Bob Ojik. The Deputy Defense Spokesperson, Kano Dewa Kiki, confirmed these promotions and changes at the Ministry of Defense in Mbuya.
Promotions and appointments of general officers by the Commander-in-Chief and the President of the Republic of Uganda as below.
Major General Francis Takirwa has been appointed Acting Deputy Commander, Land Forces. Major General J.A. Bakasumba appointed Acting Chief of Staff, Land Forces, while Brigadier General Bob Ojik has been promoted to Major General and appointed Commander, 2nd Division.
Major General Francis Takirwa, who has been the 2nd Division Commander, has been appointed the Acting Deputy Commander, Land Forces. Major General Jackson Bakasumba, who has been serving under the Uganda Police Force, has been appointed Acting Chief of Staff of Land Forces. Brigadier General Bob Pasiski Ogik has been promoted to the rank of Major General and appointed the Commander, 2nd Division. The Ministry of Defense and the UPDF fraternity wish to congratulate the general officers and wish them the best of luck in their new promotions and appointments. Thank you.
For being resilient
Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Forces, Wilson Mbadi, lauded UPDF medics for cooperating with the civilian authority to curb Ebola disease.
Our civilian authorities in combating this dangerous pandemic that was going to affect us. Of course, this is within our mandate, our constitutional mandate. In the 2 areas, one was mentioned by him, of working in harmony with the civilian population, and obviously this one involved in is working with the civilian population in cases of emergencies and pandemics like this one.
The 25 medics, both military and civilians, were urged to remain on standby until the country is declared Ebola-free. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
The Judiciary, Legislature and the Executive promised to work together yesterday in devising means on how best justice can be delivered to Ugandans. This was revealed after an in-camera engagement between the Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidolo, Prime Minister Robin Anabanja and the Attorney General Chidio Wachiwanuka.
Last month, during the Registrars and Magistrates Conference, the Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidolo had no kind words for the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja after she got involved in a court case tampering with magistrates' ruling at Mengo Magistrates Court. Dolo also expressed the need to meet with the Attorney General to ensure that the independence of the judiciary isn't tampered with. It's against this backdrop that the Chief Justice, Prime Minister, the Attorney General and the Minister for Constitutional Affairs held an in-camera engagement at the Judiciary Headquarters in Kampala to address this matter. After the meeting, In a presser with the journalists, the three arms of government vowed to work together towards serving the interests of Ugandans.
We have agreed to pursue a different methodology, a more harmonious methodology to serve our people who need our service, for whom we hold these offices.
We have always been close and we shall remain close. And I want to promise you that we are going to work together for the betterment of our country.
We need to put in clear perspective is both the judiciary and the executive are working together for the purpose of a better country and for the purpose of the common man.
Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja is optimistic that a lot is going to be achieved.
We are going to work better than how we have been, and I'm going to get more coordinated through the Minister for Constitutional Affairs and the Attorney General, then the Chief Justice. The sky is going to be the limit.
Dolo says lessons have been learned from the incident, however cited the need to educate and sensitize people about their rights.
There are a lot of things happening without it. By judicial officers, by other arms of government, but we must deal with them. And deal with them we will, to help our people access justice. We have a duty to educate our people.
Rebecca Nantongo, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Rebecca Nantongo. Meanwhile, Prime Minister of Uganda, the Right Honorable Robinah Nabbanja, is calling for a multi-sectoral approach as an effective strategy to end TB, leprosy and other communicable diseases by the year 2030. Nabbanja made the remarks during the 5th Annual National Tuberculosis and Leprosy Stakeholders Conference that aims at reviewing the progress and key achievements on strategies that could accelerate progress towards the 2022 targets in the era of public health emergencies. The Minister for Health, Dr. Janrutha Cheng, called for more funding in the tuberculosis and leprosy program for the realization of the fight's fruits by the year 2030.
To do the same, and all other stakeholders, including the Commission Director.
Uganda remains among the 30 high TB and HIV burden countries in the world, and one of the 20 countries that contribute to 80% of the missing TB cases globally. It is against this backdrop that the Ministry of Health implementing partners are calling for a multi-sectoral approach to effectively end TB and leprosy in the country by 2030. The Prime Minister, Robinah Nabbanja, at the 5th Annual National TB and Leprosy Stakeholders Conference, said that the country has made remarkable progress in the acceleration of TB infection.
I call upon all of you to embrace the multi-sectoral approach in the fight against TB and leprosy, given that the determinants of getting the disease as well as its effects extend beyond health sector.
The fight against TB and access to essential health services must go on in spite of these emerging threats. TB, as you have heard, kills more people globally and even here in Uganda than any other infectious disease. Last year, although we achieved the global target in reducing deaths from TB, the disease claimed 12,000 Ugandans, much more than COVID-19 did.
The highlight of the conference was the launch of the Live TB Free campaign that will review the second year of implementation of the National Tuberculosis Leprosy Strategic Plan 2020-2021 and 2024-2025, whose aim is to reduce the tuberculosis incidence by 20% and leprosy cases among children from 8% to less than 3%.
Other innovations at community level that can improve the tracing of the positives. You saw the statistics that were presented here. We are still missing some people who are tested positive, but they remain unlinked to care.
The impressive fact that Uganda is one of 6 high-burden countries that has reduced their TB deaths by more than 35% since 2015.
An estimated 10.6 million people worldwide fell ill with TB, of whom 1.6 million people died. This is an increase from the 10.1 million people infected in 2020.
In 2021, 82% of the estimated 91,000 people with TB were diagnosed and started on treatment. The 18%, which is undiagnosed, continues to transmit TB in the community. Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, has urged government institutions of higher learning to attract partnerships in supplementing resources. She was represented by State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. Jesse Muyingo, at the 18th graduation ceremony of Kyambogo University and said this outsourced funding will enhance more innovation.
Kyambogo University has held its 18th graduation ceremony. The first day of the 3 days, faculties of special needs and rehabilitation, science and business have graduated.
To me, I congratulate all those persons whose names have been represented for the award of the postgraduate diploma in community-based rehabilitation of Kyambogo University.
The University Vice-Chancellor, Professor Eli Katum, attributes how the graduates have been skilled with advanced teachings in job creation.
Meanwhile, new programs are also being developed, which are market-driven, especially to provide opportunities to people with disabilities to access higher education. The faculty staff continue to do research and to publish in areas relevant to people with disabilities, and I think the last year they have contributed 3 book chapters in rehabilitation, speech and language therapy, and also a chapter on the effect of COVID-19 on persons with disabilities.
With the university prioritizing the teaching of research, innovation and technology, the university is still challenged with a little wage bill that limits achieving more. The investing of resources to ensure smooth running of advanced teachings was highlighted.
Increasing the wage bill, the wage allocation to enable the university to hire adequate staff to support the university in fulfilling its mandate of providing quality teaching and learning to students.
The Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, represented by the State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Cresto Muyingo, urged government universities to utilize Public-Private Partnership Act to attract partners for resource mobilization.
Through the Public-Private Partnership Act allows universities to attract partners to supplement its funding, the funding to the university. I would therefore like to encourage staff to create more partnership and collaboration networks which will build your research profiles and strengthen the work integrated learning approach. Globalization and digital era have presented us with unprecedented opportunities for partnerships that can help us to leverage our networks and transform our society together.
A total of 12,080 graduates will be awarded masters, bachelors, diplomas and certificates in this 18th Kyambogo University graduation. Abdul Nasili Lubwama and Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
The Uganda Medical Association is tense as its president, Dr. Samuel Ledo, refuses to step aside as investigations take place over his recent conduct where he knelt before President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni at Kololo. Oledo went openly political when he preemptively backed President Yoweri Museveni's candidature in the year 2026 polls.
Odong Oledo has affirmed that he is still the president of the Uganda Medical Association amid its forces challenging him to resign with immediate effect. On Saturday, Dr. Oledo led a team of medical practitioners to endorse President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for another term come 2026.
Thank you so much. As health workers here, Your Excellency, you can see we are happy here. At least our welfare. You've been the engine behind the improved welfare of health workers. That right now, the least paid health worker who is an enrolled nurse and 1.4 million shillings from 600,000.
In a letter shared by the National Governing Council of the Medical Practitioners, the forum had resolved to have the Vice President, Dr. Edith Nakku, take over in acting capacity.
Let's have good English here. I've not stepped aside in anything, in any way. I've allowed the internal processes to go on because our constitution doesn't have that provision of step aside, step down. It's only has a provision of president resigned, president investigated, president voted out by extraordinary general assembly.
Oledo said that he agrees with investigations to go on, but he will not step aside as the constitution of the Uganda Medical Association does not provide for such, saying that he attended the NRM Youth Symposium at Kololo in his personal capacity and as a member of the NRM party, together with doctors who have the love for the party.
Trust me, majority of the young doctors out there, they subscribe to the ideology that I presented on that day very clearly. And I spoke for the doctors who are affiliated to the NRM, who feel that for sure the president has done a great job. By the way, political affiliation, even at any profession, it is involved. All of us have internally what we believe in. I've come out clearly to indicate that I'm NRM. I've never hidden that from anyone. But you're not going to be a honorable profession which fights every now and then. We must have ability to appreciate and have a new approach in dialoguing with the government and trying to discuss. You want twist government to employ the 2,500 doctors. You want to do that. But there must be discussion to see that this agenda of health, which the president actually is very positive about.
Dr. Samuel Oledo subscribes to the NRM party and has ever contested as the NRM regional vice chairperson, Northern Uganda, before standing for the East African Legislative Assembly seat, which he lost.
Uganda National Students Association is set to hold the National Students Council elections at St. Mary's College, Rushoroza, Kabale District from the 16th to the 19th of December 2022. The association speaker, Kenneth Agaba, says that nominations are ongoing with the list of successful candidates expected Thursday this week.
This year's National Students' Council elections will be held from 16th to 19th December as the list of nominees is yet to be released.
People are still bringing in the nomination forms. Verification as well is ongoing for the candidates, for the people who are being nominated. And Monday, we shall release the official list of the jury nominated candidates for the different positions.
The council is elected by student leaders from secondary, tertiary and university institutions, as well as leaders at district and national levels.
All students that have, let's say, complaints about the delegates list, you're free to petition and bring in your petitions. We can handle them. We have to make sure as the Speaker's office and the Secretariat that we have the most valid delegates.
Inform the students who have been registered to be vigilant. We don't want court cases. Previously, we have gone into elections, and after an election, they say these are wrong delegates, and they have achieved the positions at a higher level, and were taken to court, and you find the whole process has been brought back to zero.
Uganda National Students Association commits to eliminate partisan politics in this year's exercise, having been cited as one of the challenges in the past.
Our policy statement is that UNSA shall be guided and administered without following any political party inclination.
If we get anyone campaigning online of a political party affiliation, then that delegate or that candidate is scrapped off.
The exercise, expected to cost over 250 million shillings, will be funded by Ministry of Education and Sports and projects by the association. Marian Womcha and Collins Juko,
UBC Lunchtime News, thank you so much for watching. Here's a short break. Enjoy it.
MT
Yana kutusako. Shimba life ku Kampala Serena Hotel, Victoria Hall Friday nga mwena December. Neku Saturday nga 10 December. Okuingira shilingi mtwalo 15. Emeze kama watu mnana ya milioni 3. Hate alebadi wogulanga buchari mtwalo 10. Eno 2 days mega concert ku Sunday nga 11 Freedom City. 16 December Totera Mchawe. 17 December Mbarara Ajip Motel. 18 December Fort Porto au Mobuhinga Stadium. One shillings mtwalo mu VIP mtwalo 3. Beautiful Shimba, swag mama, ice cream, green gama. Waku konko na nyimba zezona hit to hit. Kati musale wunga buchalaba. Tusale ko Serena. Mujena wana bubaira mos butekelo. Wana bubasiria pizza amatuga mpuma. Kati events. Let's say
MTN.
Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude, it's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold on much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And do you have everything you need to believe?
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for 1 whole year. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Happiness comes to us in many places. It's in knowing the mosquito net keeps our children healthy. The wife having the support of her husband. It's in deciding together when to have a baby. And for some, focusing on what's important right now. So what's your happiness? Make the right health decisions to ensure happiness for you and your family.
Paying for groceries the old way.
3, 4, yeah.
Allow me.
Paying for groceries with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to conveniently pay for goods and services. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
That's my wife.
Get value for your money by choosing the right paint. With Global Paints, you don't just paint, but paint for generations to come. Make Global Paints a paint of choice and make your building a paradise. We have weather coat emulsion, undercoat emulsion, silk vinyl emulsion, flat emulsion, super gloss and high gloss. Global Paint, a reliable product.
ABI Finance Limited unveiled the Green Finance Fund and Green Taxonomy worth 124 billion Uganda shillings to promote the sustainable growth and resilience of the agriculture sector in Uganda. We have it in detail.
It is a blend of 3 green finance instruments, including green lines of credit worth 120 billion Uganda shillings, capacity building worth 4 billion Uganda shillings, and green agribusiness guarantees. The fund is designed and can be accessed by financial institutions in Uganda. A green taxonomy is a list or manual that highlights investment options that are environmentally sustainable, that is, green, and by extension, those that aren't. ABI Finance partnered with the Global Green Growth Institute to develop the Green Agribusiness Taxonomy. ABI's Ms. Mona Muguma said the 2 initiatives were launched to promote climate change adaptation, mitigation, and biodiversity conservation in Uganda.
We can take loan or lines of credit requests all the way from 500 million about a maximum of 4 billion per institution. So it is not being accessed directly by the smallholder farmers and the agribusinesses, but rather by the financial institutions that lend them.
So this is one of the calls that came out of the COP26 and the COP27 this year. And a response of a challenge fund like the API is a way of trying to act and trying to channel more funds to climate change adaptation to Uganda. Relevance being that Uganda is very vulnerable to climate change and doesn't have a very sort of strong readiness.
She observed that globally, Uganda is the 12th most vulnerable and the 49th least prepared out of 195 countries to deal with vagaries of climate change.
We use indeed the prevailing cost of money within the economy, and risk needs to be factored in. Indeed, the taxonomy will support more than just agribusiness, because the reality is agribusiness does not operate in a vacuum, and the financial institutions that we work with support other sectors. So it was important anyway that we have a taxonomy that speaks to the rest.
Deputy Governor Bank of Uganda commended ABI Finance for putting together the fund because the interventions will enable financial institutions to implement environment, social and good governance practices while offering more financing to agribusinesses and smaller holder farmers to green investments, leading to resilience and sustainability of both the financial services sector and the agribusiness sector.
We recently launched a new strategic plan, 2022 to 2027, where we have a strategic initiative of institutionalizing an environmental, social, and governance framework across all the regulated financial institutions.
Sandra Kahonde, UBC News.
Uganda Baseball and Softball Association has benefited from Dr. Mark Reid, who has offered equipment worth about $10,000.
Many Uganda sports federations and associations suffer identical problems, especially lack of funds and equipment. The latter, for Uganda Baseball and Softball Association, will in the short run belong to the past, following an offer from American philanthropist Dr. Mark Reid.
We are honored that Christmas has come early for us as we prepare our national teams for the World Cup qualifiers. Today, Dr. Mark Reid from Houston, Texas, in the USA, has done us good with another equipment and jerseys for our national team. This is an area we have been challenged in, but today we have been fully dressed up, and this gives us more hope and well preparation for our national team as we enter into the World Cup qualifiers, which will be taking place in January and in February.
The equipment, including jerseys, bats and balls, has been delivered to the national teams, currently in training in Zambia ahead of major global engagements.
We are very, very excited with this project and the donation which has come in, which is now making our national team look wonderful. I think you can see they are looking wonderful, they are smart, and there is no reason for us not to win the championship.
In the upcoming engagements, Uganda will play against others like South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Kenya, and Tanzania. John Barnes, Sentamu, UBC News.
We thank you so much for watching. That is all we had for you this afternoon. We'll have more news for you in the evening. Luganda, Kiswahili, and I'll be here myself for news tonight. For now, enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.